Previously on A Mandalorian is Born.
The Jedi had fallen. One by one, I could feel their light leaving the living force. But they weren't just my friends, but my family. I have to find them. I can't be the only one left. Luckily for me, I have more than one family. A family of Mandalorians. They call me a foundling. A foundling. And I find myself on a mission to find the rest of my family. I will not stop. I will find them. I don't know if we can rebuild the order or not. All we have to do at this point is just survive. In my heart, I will always be a Jedi. But for now, this is the way. 6 months later, somewhere in deep space. I've been told that you can be trusted with sensitive information. I've been traveling with a certain item that at one point gave me great comfort, but now could get me killed. I have others that I really need to get to safety and will soon be going on the path. But I don't want my item to become Imperial property. I've left you with the transmission as to where it is. Please retrieve it and hold it dear. Do we have the location, Pip? I think it's a holocron as well. We'll prep the chip. We have a job to do.
Hello, fellow builders, and welcome back to the bench. Mediocre Modeler here. And, well, okay. I know. That was a really long, drawn-out way for me to say, hey, we're going to build the holocron. At best, it was an excuse for me to put on my Jedi and my Mandalorian costume. At worst, it was a chance for me to put on my Jedi or Mandalorian costume. What are you going to do? I like to kind of... Since this seems like it's going to be a simple build, I like to tell a story a little bit with it, just to bring a little bit something extra to the build. That's it. It is what it is. But with the holocron, it started out okay. When I first got my filament 3D printer, I was just looking for all kinds of things to build. And so one of the first things that I wanted to build was the holocron. And when I printed it, the first thing I printed was the base, which I was like, oh, that came out pretty good. So then I decided to print out the sides. And that's where kind of the problems started to run in. If you can see how this is a really thin piece of plastic that you're trying to create layer by layer. And I was getting the stringing in between where it would kind of drag. I wasn't very happy with that. So this is one I just stuck in the box and set off to. Sorry about that. Dropped this on the keyboard, shut off the video. But my point was that I really wasn't happy with the way this was coming out. And I could have fixed it, most likely. But it would have required a little bit more work than I was really wanting to put into it. Not to mention the backside. How well you can see that. Oh, yeah, see? That backside, all that would have to be fixed. At least, that's what I was thinking. Then I got my resin printer. and things started happening there. And so I printed this piece off. The resin is beautiful. You get a nice smooth surface for the most part. And the side pieces are just fantastic. So I decided it was time. It was time to get this going, and all the pieces are printed. But I wanted to do something a little bit extra with it as well, because it needs a little bit of something extra, which is why the lights are flashing in the back. I wanted to put some lights in it. So now is the easiest time to add like an ambient light thing to stuff, because it's so readily available. My plan is to go to get a remote controlled puck light from like Five Below for a couple of dollars to put inside this. But we got to get it put together first. So the first step is we got to sand these bad boys and probably get them glued together just to see what kind of, yeah. Let's start with sanding. So this piece here, this is the bottom. Obviously this was already designed with some way for there to be a light in there, so that's not a big deal. This is going to be inside, so there's really no need to do anything here for the moment to modify this. So we're going to set that guy aside. Now these side pieces, this was one of the first ones to print, and when I printed it, I had some trouble getting it off the base, so it cracked there. I think my resin was a little bit thin, and you get this sticky kind of tacky sheen, and it's not level. There's still some bumpiness to it, actually. But this is what I'm facing when you're facing a resin print. So we got to get this smooth. You want the paint to be able to adhere to it, and you want your pieces to just be able to, paint stuff. Without a doubt, sanding has got to be the one thing that I hate to do. But it is necessary. And again, like I said, I got to get this, I need to rough this up, give it a little bit of tooth so it'll hold, so the paint will have something to grab onto. And what we're going to use, I picked up this DA sander, and I've got a 220 piece of sandpaper on there, just so to see if we can get this. Oh, I like that. I like that a lot. Made short work of that. Definitely took the sheen off. It's a very smooth, consistent surface. Good. So I'm going to continue on with that and see how. You know what? Let's go ahead and do both sides. Oh man. You know what? I'm gonna give this a wash. Let's go give him a quick bath. these are nice and smooth and dry. See if we can't glue a couple of them together. My biggest concern with gluing these pieces together is trying to maintain square. That's what the block of wood was for. The problem I had was this blue glue. It's very thin and it runs very quickly. I was okay until I did this. I glued the corner. It leaked down into between the cracks. So I got smart and started to put it on top of the wood block, which is what it's there for. Switching to the purple glue, which is a little bit thicker and easier to deal with. Unfortunately, I still ended up gluing my fingers to the cube. I can't help myself. I get something together and I want it to feel like a thing. So I already painted it. And if you look on the internet under Holocron, you'll get any number of hits. I mean, they're commercially available. You can get them. I think you can get them at Disneyland at the Batu Galaxy's Edge deal. So I want to try and make this stand out a little bit. But I also wanted to, it's supposed to feel like it was made by ancient Jedi and it's been passed down from, generation to generation. So it doesn't need to look, I mean, if we were filming right now on set somewhere, well, that looks good. That looks great. Especially way back there. Oh, look, it's Holocron. Oh my God. So, but I gotta look at it up close, and when people come in, they're gonna look at it up close. I want to do a little bit of weathering and just kind of, what would it actually look like? And then on top of that, trying to, I was fighting square, which, hey, it is square, but my scenes where they come together, they don't always look the greatest, right? All right, look at that. And so I thought what I'd do is take some of the styrene and accent some of these hard lines, and that'll make them harder. But then again, that'll make a nice, good, hard edge. But then I could maybe come back in and do some nicks and scratches with it, and I don't know. We're kind of making this up as we go along. This always happens. We start with something simple and oh, there goes mediocre again, off in left field. So if we're going to be in left field, then by God, let's be in left field. So let's do it. Okay, we're just going to start off with some 3/16 L-shaped styrene and just start cutting and trimming. So we need that. We need that. Okay, this looks pretty good. I like this, the way this is looking. I'm not going to
my first instinct was to get some more styrene. I'm out of this 3/16 styrene, but to finish this off. But I want the bottom to always remain and look like the bottom, so I'm just going to leave those open. But now, since I'm right where I want to be, okay, I think I need to clear coat it, and then I'm going to distress it, like maybe take my pair of pliers or something and just kind of knock it around, get some dents and some damage in it, and then we're going to put a wash on it. And then we can start working on the lights. While that clear coat's drying, I figured I'd go on ahead and share with you what I did for the lights. So I went to Five Below and got this puck light. Well, I've taken it already out, but it looks like that. This was the base, and my initial thought was that I was going to cut a hole in the base and slide the puck in. And the puck is designed where you would tap it and turn it on. It's battery powered. And I normally don't buy things brand new and take them apart, but this was less than $5, so I'm like, what do I have to lose? Except for the fact that it was the only one they had in stock. So I decided to take it apart. Oh, hold up. I decided to take it apart. And so that's all I had. It was just a circuit board. There's a touch button there to where if you tap on it, that would come on, but I'm never going to use that. And so I had also taken the battery door off the back, so all I was really left with was this, the puck, and it takes 3 AAA batteries. So what I decided to do was just cut a hole in the back just big enough to reach the batteries, and I can put those in, and I don't have any issues on top here. I don't have the extra dome blocking any light because I was wanting to get as much light as possible. And there's also a remote. So let's see. Just uh-oh. Oh, push the batteries in. And yeah, there you go. That's pretty good. And I can switch my colors. We need better visual. There you go. So it's going to travel through the color spectrum, or we can just pick a color. I'm okay with that. So the other thing I had to do was figure out a way to kind of spread that light. And what I did was I grabbed some batting. And so what I did is once I put the batting over the light, it kind of diffuses the light. Trust me, it diffuses the light. It'll spread it around the cube. And so the only thing I really need to do on this base is maybe come up with a bottom so that the batteries don't just fall out. But I also want to make sure it remains flat. So I'll probably put some little rubber feet on the bottom of that. So I can put a little door on there, and then it will still remain flat onto the desk. All right. And it wouldn't hurt to paint the bottom of that. I think I'll fill that in and paint that black real quick.
I know. I said we're going to be in left field and we're going to go off the rails and we're going to weather it and we're just going there. And something happened. I got the plexi in, and it was, the gold was painted and it was trimmed out, and just something happened. I looked at it and I'm like, that thing is beautiful just the way it is. It doesn't need anything else. And it's not perfect. But by no means. And I really noticed it when I was taking some of the shots in the little light booth. In my little indentions, you can see the way it's made. There's some pinholes that could be filled. I could have waited until I got some more styrene in so that didn't have that little break there. And it doesn't matter. And it's not as if I don't have the other holocron that I couldn't make into a weathered or distressed one, because it's already going to require so much work to get. It would have required so much more work to get that one to this state than to take this one that is already nice and really overly distress it. And maybe that's what I'll get done in the next week that I'm off for the Christmas holiday. But you know what that means? That means it's your turn. It's your turn to get frustrated and go off into left field and decide that's not the direction you want to go, and come back and change it again. It's your turn to go build something. And don't let little things like it's not perfect or I don't know what the electronics are going to be like, because I think that's where a lot of people get hung up. They get hung up with, I don't know how to do the lighting. I don't know how to do the electronics or whatever. Don't let that hang you up. Find a simple solution. Find a $5 solution. And then the next time, challenge yourself and do a little bit more and get a little bit better. Do a little bit more and a little bit better. But until next time, have fun, be safe, and go build something. Pew 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 pew.